All right, let's go. Okay, we got our first question in already from Diego. And so I'm going to attempt to answer his question in this new video format. Got my new camera here, so this should be better, high resolution for this. And we'll start with this Growl Tap Kit. Okay, so when you get the Growl Tap Kit, it comes with 4 feet of hose, silicone hose, and 4 feet of this new restriction hose. Now I've got a few questions from people ask me, you know, what the heck is this and why is it in there? And it's written on the box. There's flow control, there's some stickers, but we need to do something a bit more clear. So I think I'm going to do a full video all about flow restriction. We'll touch on it briefly here right now. Then you got your cap, your picnic tap, and then the regulator and the box. Whoop, whoop. So the regulator, the thing we need to acknowledge here is that there's 2 kinds of regulator. Well, it's the same regulator, but 2 different adapters on there. And you can see that, I think, pretty good in the camera there. I mean, the only thing to see is that this one's bigger than that one. This is an M8 thread, which is exactly the same as a bicycle tire. That's kind of irrelevant, but I guess you could use this to pump up your tire on your bike. Well, I don't know how you'd get it on there. And this is a 1/4 inch MFL. Well, female flared, actually. This is the MFL. And so that goes onto there nicely. And this is sort of an industry standard, is these quick disconnects. So this particular fitting, it's not actually 1/4 inch. There's, off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the thread. But that's what it's known as. It's 1/4 inch MFL. So then all the duotite fittings go on there also. The reason we have these M8 regulators is because of the basic tap kit. That was one of the most popular tap kits originally. And that would go on there directly. But now we've got the basic tap kits with 1/4 inch. So it doesn't really matter which one you have, because all you need to do is simply use an adapter. And here, we'll take this off. Boop. Put that over there. And well, let's just take this right off and go over it. And then we'll take off the dip tube. Right here you can see there's the flow restriction hose goes inside there. And that's all you do, is you just stick a hose in a hose, and then it creates enough drag on the beer to prevent foaming. And depending on how cold your beer is and how shook up your beer is, you might want to put it in here and in your picnic hose. The more restriction hose, the more restriction. And it depends on what you adjust it to, what you like your beer. If you like your beer cranked right up to 15 PSI, I wouldn't, but I don't like fizzy beer. I'm kind of British. I like my beer around 8 PSI and warm. Yeah, anyway, so these the regulators with the M8 fitting will come with this adapter. Now the inside part here spins inside the housing, so you can't screw it in directly. It just won't work. I mean, they'll start to thread in there, but then it's not going to happen. So the thing I need to get across here is you have to tighten on to the 1/4 inch fitting first, right? So if you tighten on to here, even finger tight now, that'll hold that in place, and then you can spin that into there and get it nice and tight. Same thing goes for the Growl Tap Kit. So that spins onto there. And with the Growl Tap Kit, if you use a wrench, you can actually tighten this up so that it butts up against the metal housing right there. So these two are tight up against each other. And now this will still spin a little bit. I took one apart here, and the washer inside here is quite thick. So you get an airtight seal, and you'll see that here shortly. So then when you're tightening onto here, you can spin this right on. And this is what will happen, is it'll get to the tightening point, and then that thing, this part, will start to spin inside of here. But that's okay, because there's enough of a washer there that it still remains airtight. So the trick with this is that you can, once it's on the bottle, and we'll reattach the picnic hose. That's good enough for what we're trying to do. If you moisten that up, it'll go on a lot easier. And so now you can turn this clockwise to any angle. So this is one of the advantages of having it with the adapters, that you can change the angle, which might be advantageous depending on where it is in the fridge or whatever. But you can't adjust it this way or you'll loosen the thread. So you always have to turn it clockwise to tighten it. Now, like I said, these are being phased out, but if you have one, it doesn't make a big difference because you just use the adapter. Where's the other cap? Here it is. So from now on, it's going to be more of this situation where the adapter or the regulator screws directly on there, and then whatever angle it's at, that's the angle you're at. So it'll be more like that. So, you know, not a big difference, but just need to be aware of, if you're getting any leaks in here, you have to build things in this order. So then what we'll do is we'll give this a test here. Can we see the regulator? So we'll crank that up there, and then we'll turn it off. And you can see it's holding pressure, which means that it's airtight. So you just put some gas on, turn it all the way off, and if it's holding, you press the picnic tap here, and you can let the pressure out. And that's pretty well the whole thing. Serve your beer. I mean, obviously you need a dip tube, and you can use the flow restriction if you want. You can put some in the hose and get it just right. I mean, for most part, I tell people to keep it all the way down to 3 to 5 psi and just gently push the beer out. So hopefully that'll solve the leaking issues that Diego's having. Just doing it in that order. And yeah, keep the questions coming. I'll just keep answering on this platform. I'm going to get better at it as I go. I think I need to adjust the height of that, some of the lighting, but that's not your problem. I'll just figure this out as I go along. So thanks for joining me, and keep the questions coming.